In today's Farm Report, agriculture is always evolving, whether going from tie stall barns to freestall barns for dairy, or in how breeding is done, from just putting a bull to pasture with cows to now doing artificial insemination. Emily Wilmeth with the University of Minnesota Extension Service Office has more.
Agriculture is an ever-evolving industry, and changes at both the micro and macro levels can change how the entire industry looks and how farmers operate in it. There are 10 megatrends in agriculture that have been identified, and smart producers will follow them and adapt to them in order to stay competitive. Ed Clark with AgWeb put together a great summary of these trends. 1. Shifting farm structure. A large transfer of farm assets to younger producers will occur soon, as 30% of farmers are over the age 65. The trend towards larger farms will slow until it hits equilibrium. 2. Acceleration in technology. Data analysis in the years ahead will supplement what farmers know intuitively, and in some cases, challenge those assumptions. 3. Biotechnology strategy evolves. GMOs are here to stay, but face political and public relations hurdles. The industry can benefit by helping turn public opinion. 4. Specialization to continue. Agricultural production is becoming more specialized. Farms producing corn have decreased 13% because of economies of scale, technological advances, and government policy. 5. Resource scarcity. More than 40% of the food production increase since 1961 has been accomplished through irrigation, but groundwater supplies aren't infinite. Climate change also poses challenges. For each 1.8 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature, key crop yields can drop up to 10%. 6. Changing commodity environment. The correlation of corn prices to crude oil prices has more than doubled. Other commodities illustrate the strong relationship between energy and crop prices. 7. Meat consumption shift. U.S. meat consumption has declined, and China is now the world's top meat consumer. The U.S. will likely ship more pork and fewer grains to the country. 8. Public scrutiny of livestock treatment. Consumer demand and regulatory insistence on a range of safeguards for raising livestock in ways deemed sustainable and humane are causing rapid changes in the food system. 9. Environmentalism's influence grows. From fertilizer to pesticides, farmers have to be mindful of a complex, growing web of regulations. 10. Government policy in flux. Successive administrations in the U.S. and other countries have established approaches for land use, biofuels, GMOs, and monetary policy that seem likely to continue. The biggest change is likely to occur in China, which is slowly embracing GMOs. Now that you know what the 10 megatrends in agriculture are, how will you look towards the future when it comes to your farm? What changes can you make to remain relevant, competitive, and in business? This is Emily Wilmeth with University of Minnesota Extension.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Commodity Credit Corporation has released its March rates. The CCC rate-based interest charge is set at 0.25%. Less than 1-year commodity loans are set at 1.25% unchanged from February. Farm storage facility loans all saw decreases. For more information, contact your local Farm Service Agency office. Obesity is a growing problem in America, and traditional ways of trying to get the word across is falling on deaf ears. So, some nutrition researchers are trying technology. Gary Crawford with the U.S. Department of Agriculture has more.
It's bad.
How bad?
End of the world bad.
You may think you're listening to the soundtrack of a new sci-fi movie. Actually, it's a video game designed to teach good eating and exercise habits to kids and teens. Because as most experts tell us,
putting a billboard up has little impact.
We need to be interesting, exciting, colorful, or we might as well just go home.
And so we're trying to figure out how to best harness the power of technology to promote healthy behaviors.
3 experts all talking about various ways to change the eating and exercise patterns of Americans to fight a growing obesity problem among kids and adults, and to fight the onset earlier in life now of chronic diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. Kansas State University Associate Director of Extension and Applied Research, Dr. Daryl Buchholz, says it's a very tough job. He says when you think about all the physical, genetic, social, environmental factors that cause us to eat what we eat, you realize
just how difficult it is to approach solutions to an overweight society.
He talked about successes they've seen in changing the behavior of low-income families through in-person classes and lessons and demonstrations, which is what the Extension Service does very well and has done for years. But Extension experts are also expanding their efforts because they realize in today's world,
We need to get the message quick and get their attention.
Joanne Kinsey is a Rutgers University Extension nutrition and health educator who brings nutrition tips and recipes and other health information to people, many more than she could possibly reach with traditional methods, by using social media.
And this is how we capture the attention of the audience.
So she uses Facebook, Twitter, many others to bring her colorful nutrition messages to consumers. Now, many scientists say that most of our eating patterns and health habits are developed when we're young, and today's youth are surrounded from an early age by technology, smartphones, gaming devices, iPods, pads, laptops.
And so we need to figure out how to best use technology to encourage them at an early age to adopt healthy nutrition and physical activity behaviors.
Dr. Deb Thompson is a researcher with the U.S. Department of Agriculture at Baylor College of Medicine. She and social scientists and kids and teens are working together, developing special videos and games that look and sound like big, expensive Hollywood digital animated films.
This is the town of Diab. You can eat all the junk food you want.
I've seen some decent food, like fruits and vegetables. Why don't people eat that?
The food in the vending towers is free.
Sound like a dream? It's not. It's a nightmare.
And that's just one of the games and videos which Dr. Thompson says walk a fine line between entertainment and behavioral change messages. All of these efforts and many more designed to help fight obesity and chronic disease. But Kansas State's Dr. Daryl Buchholz says, of course,
It is not that we're going to solve it, but to move the whole system in a positive direction.
In Washington, Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Do you have a USDA Conservation Stewardship Program contract that started in 2010? It's set to expire this year. So Mark Rose is among the Natural Resources Conservation Service staff that says,
we are asking producers who have a current CSP contract with NRCS to come into the office and submit their application for renewal and identify what they would like to do.
Rose says in addition to the voluntary conservation practices producers are already conducting as part of their existing CSP contract, there is new conservation enhancements included in CSP in the 2014 Farm Bill.
We are having some new enhancements focused on soil health. They could be associated with cover crops. I believe there's a soil testing one that might be new as far as their enhancement goes.
Rose says producers with expiring CSP contracts need to visit with their local NRCS field staff and discuss re-enrolling acres and enhancement options. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.